All right, I think we're good to go. So, thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Marc Drumm. I'm an instructional designer in the Office of Distance Education here at Westchester University. And today we are going to be talking about using YouTube in your online course. Um, Before we get to that, I just want to plug a couple of things that we have coming up. So, today, is the YouTube webinar. And then we also have our open house that's actually going on right now. So if you're on campus and you have a little bit of time, right after this, you can run over to Sykes and join our open house. It's a joint event with Kutztown University, and we have some faculty there who are showing off the latest and greatest in what they're doing in their online courses, and there's lunch there. So if you're around and you have a few minutes right after this, run over to Sykes and stop in. We have another webinar coming up next Friday. It's going to be on virtual reality, and Tom is going to run it, and it's going to be very cool. I'll tell you that. He has been playing around with a couple of virtual reality headsets that we got within the last few months or so. So if you're wondering about this, it's becoming more of a hot topic lately. Check it out. We have a faculty event. Oh, see, we got a question here at 11. Yeah, the webinars we do are always Friday at 11 a.m. Unless for some other reason they're not, and we'll put that on our website somewhere. But yeah, our Friday webinars are always at 11. Then on the 17th, we have an event here in Wayne Hall that you can sign up through our website, and we'll be talking about various tools that students use can do to make presentations. So ways that they can make videos, ways that they can do video on top of like a PowerPoint presentation or something else like that. It's a very popular type of assignment, usually in online courses, and there are various options that you can do for that. So we'll have that in person here. And the next version of our online faculty development program will start on January 9th. For the three of you, that's not really something you need to worry about because you're in the one that's currently running. And then on January 20th, we have a conference. It's going to be the very first session of an annual conference in the Scholarship of Teaching, Learning, and Assessment. We're doing it in conjunction with the TLAC, and there's some information about it on our website. Or you can go to Westchester's site and at the end of the URL, put a / and then the letters SOTLA, standing for Scholarship of Teaching, Learning, and Assessment. So check that out and stop by for that if you can. So for this webinar, we'll be talking about a few different things. Your various options for streaming here at Westchester. And then we'll focus primarily here on YouTube, how to upload a video, how to do some basic editing within YouTube itself, embedding a YouTube video into your D2L module page. So very critical, popular way of getting content across in D2L. We'll look at using Google Capture on a mobile device. So this is a really neat app that allows you to make, edit, and upload a video directly into YouTube. Great option for students if you give them a video assignment. Really easy to do. And then finally, we'll look at a third-party tool that you can use in conjunction with your YouTube videos. There's a lot of them out there that work with YouTube to give some extra functionality, and we'll look at one in particular. So that being said, let's talk about what are your streaming options here at Westchester. So primarily you have two. There are others, but the vast majority of videos are going to get streamed from one of these two services. So there is what's now known as My Media, but was formerly called Kaltura. This is a streaming service that's actually built into our D2L our instance of D2L here at Westchester, and then there's YouTube. So why would you pick one over the other? What are the pros and cons of these services? YouTube, of course, is widely understood. I mean, if you've been on the internet, you've watched a YouTube video. There's, everybody knows how to use it. There's no training required whatsoever to watch a video. They are owned by Google, and Google, of course, has a massive infrastructure of servers around the world, making sure that YouTube videos are being, served on a regular basis, and there are no issues going on. So you don't have to worry about, whether a YouTube video is available or not. It runs on everything: desktop devices, mobile devices, wearable devices. YouTube is everywhere. So you don't have to worry about whether or not it will or won't run on something. There's a lot of third-party software that YouTube's been integrated into, and we'll look at a couple of those options later on. There's some options for sharing or hiding your videos. So if you want to make your video available to the world, you can. If you want to just make it available to a select group of people, you can also do that. There's a built-in captioning tool. Obviously, captioning, very important, not just for people with hearing disabilities, but for other groups of people as well. You can combine them with other tools to essentially increase the functionality of YouTube. And again, we'll look at an example later on for that. And then the mobile app that I mentioned. The pros of Kaltura are it's integrated right into D2L. So there's nothing that you have to sign up for, no extra account or anything like that. Once you've logged into D2L, you can directly access and upload anything to your Kaltura account. The videos are strictly restricted to just your courses, so nobody outside of your course is going to see that video. And then it's also supported by Westchester IT. So if there is an issue that comes up with Kaltura, you have somebody that you can contact for help. So the cons of these services, excuse me. So for YouTube, you have to have a Google account. So there is an extra account that you have to sign up for. Now this can be any Google account. So if you have a Gmail account or Google Plus or something like that, you have a YouTube account, whether you're aware of it or not. The highest security setting in YouTube is unrealistic for use in courses. So if you use that setting, then for each video, you also have to list each person individually that you want to have access to that video. So if you have a course of 50 students, you're going to have to get the Google account addresses for each one of those 50 students and list them in each video that you use on YouTube. So let's face it, that's unrealistic. But there are other options, and we'll get to that shortly. Copyrighted material may be blocked. So if part of your video includes maybe a clip from a television show or an audio clip from a piece of recorded music, there is software built into YouTube to recognize those things and block you from using them. So you have to be careful about that. Now, there is a neat feature that Google added in not too long ago that essentially recognized who owned that particular piece of music or piece of video and whatnot, and would automatically contact him to say, hey, somebody is interested in using your work. Do you want to give permission to do that? And they can say yes, and then you're good to go. You've been given permission. And that happens actually fairly frequently. So it's a really nice feature there. And then, of course, there's no direct support. Something goes wrong with YouTube. It's rare, but if it happens, you can't exactly call up Google and say, hey, what's going on here? You just kind of have to wait until they've taken care of it. So the cons of Kaltura: you can't share your videos outside of D2L. So if you want somebody at another institution, or just make it available to somebody, to anybody in the world, you can't do that with Kaltura. It is difficult to transfer videos from one account to the other. So if you can give a colleague access to a video in your account. Say they want to use it for their course, but then if you delete it from your account, you're also deleting it from your colleague's course as well. Now the way around that is, you would give the video file to your colleague and they would put it in their Kaltura account, but there's no automated way of doing that. They essentially have to go through the same uploading process that you do when you upload your video to a Kaltura account. The way that the videos are organized in Kaltura are really kind of inefficient. It can be difficult to find a particular video that you're looking for if you have a lot of them in there. And there's no built-in captioning tool in Kaltura. So you will have to use some other tool or program to do your captioning. So Maria's got a question here, and the question is, how do you do captioning to have it accessible to everyone? That's a great question. So it is possible to do in YouTube. I will kind of briefly touch on that a little bit later on. One of the webinars that I do actually is a whole thing on captioning, and it's how to do captioning within YouTube, and then also how to do captioning within Camtasia. So if you are making your own videos with Camtasia, there is a way to do the captioning in there as well. There are also a whole bunch of third-party captioning tools that are out there that you can use to write your captions. So it's not something that I'm going to really touch on, deeply in this webinar, but you can do it in YouTube. You can do it in Camtasia. There are options for doing that. So that all being said, if you want to set up a YouTube account, as I mentioned, if you have some sort of a Google account already, you already have a YouTube account. So what you would do is you would just go to youtube.com. You would sign in using your Gmail or whatever your Google account is, and you're up and running. Now, one thing that I recommend is when you go to upload your first video, you'll see a box at the bottom of the screen that says, do you want to upload videos longer than 15 minutes? Increase your limit. And there's a link there that you can click. And what that does is it's just a further verification process for Google to make sure that you are an actual person and that you're not some, computer, something that's just going to automatically be, throwing up videos on Google for everyone to see and whatnot. Usually they call or text you a code that you put in. Once you've done that, then you'll have the ability to upload videos that are longer than 15 minutes. So when you first start out, I recommend going and taking care of verifying your YouTube account. So we got a question here. Should we be taking notes or would we have access to this PowerPoint? You will actually, I'm recording this webinar right now, so later on we'll put it up on our YouTube page. How about that for a plug? And you'll be able to play the whole thing back and see it. So, so the next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to show you very quickly how to upload a video directly to YouTube, and then how to upload it from a third-party program like Camtasia. So if I go to YouTube here, and what I've done is I've already is just go to youtube.com, logged into my account, and here I am at my homepage. And what I've done on my channel here is there's a whole bunch of videos that I've found throughout the years that I found very helpful, and I stick them on here. And if people want to go to my page, they can look at that. And there's some interesting things on here. There's webinars that I've done. There's tips on other programs that people have found useful. So, if you ever want to look at those, you're more than welcome to do that. But what I've done here is on my computer on the desktop, I have a video that I made. It was just a quick screen recording, an example of walking somebody through the directions of how to go to a website. Okay, so I'll actually play it for you. Hello, and welcome again to Internet 101. To go to Apple's website, simply type in www. And it goes on for like 30 seconds or so. And we don't need to teach anybody here about how to go to a website. But so I have this short video. I want to put it on YouTube. What I do is right at the very top in the right corner of YouTube's site, there's a button that says upload. And if you click that, you go directly to the upload page, and it says select a file to upload or drag and drop your video file right there, which is what I'll do. But there's one other thing that I want to point you to, and that is this setting right here. This is the privacy setting. And if you click on that, you have 3 options. And I just want to explain what these options are very quickly, because for a lot of faculty, this is very important issue to them. Public means that you're making your video available to everybody. It's going to show up in search engine results. Anybody in the world can see it. Unlisted means that only people who have the URL, who have the link to this video, can see it. It will not show up in search engine results, so the general public will not be able to get to it. Now, that being said, if you make a video unlisted, you stick it in your course, one of your students takes the link and emails it to a friend of theirs, yes, their friend is going to be able to see your video. But that being said, I mentioned before talking about making a video private, and just what a huge hassle it is to have that setting and use that within a course. For faculty who don't want their videos to be public, I would say the vast majority of them are using unlisted, and they find that to be fine and have not had any issues with it. And the thing is, in the end, if you have a video that somehow gets out and you don't want people to see it, you can always just go in and delete it. So or you can re-upload it to a different URL. So there are some options there. I would say, in general, just kind of think about all of the videos that you've watched on YouTube, and I'm sure some of them are entertaining and goofy and funny and that sort of thing, but there's a lot of great free educational stuff out there that people have put on YouTube. So I usually kind of like to say, it's not a bad thing if you're making your own video, think about making it public. You're doing a service to the world, so to speak. You're providing them with that extra bit of knowledge and kind of giving back to all the people who have made videos for you. So, if you're comfortable with that sort of thing, I say, making your videos public is not a bad thing. So, but that being said, this setting is here, and it's something that you probably want to address before you start the upload process. So as I mentioned, it says right here, drag and drop your video files. So I'm going to take that video that I made, I'm just going to drag it right over there. Notice how that line turns green. I'm going to let go. And now it's going through the uploading process, and it's processing the video. And what I get immediately on the left here is a link that says your video will be live at, and then here's the URL. So now automatically I know what the link to my video file is going to be. And then, and as you can see, it's done. It's uploaded. It's mostly processed here. I've got kind of my little preview of what the video is going to look like. Here I can go in and I can set the title of the video. I can put in a description, a few lines about what this video is going to be about. I can put in some tags, so things that will help me later on if I want to search for it within my account. So things maybe like, the course number, the semester, people, names of people who are in it, the content, the subject, that sort of thing. I can set all of those things here. Once I've got it the way that I want it, I just click this publish video, or I'm sorry, this publish button, and it tells me that I'm done. And it gives me the link right here for it. So if I copy that and I paste that right into my browser. Hello, and welcome again to... I'll stop that right there. There it is. There's my video. It's on YouTube. It's ready for anyone to use. I mean, that's, in terms of simplicity, getting a video onto YouTube is pretty quick and straightforward. There's not a whole lot to it. There are other ways of getting your video into YouTube. So, as I mentioned, you can also do it from certain third-party programs. So the university has a site license for Camtasia. So this is here, what I have here is another video that I created in Camtasia, and it's very, very similar to the one that I just showed you before. I think it walks you through the steps of how to get to the Westchester University site. Hello, and welcome to Internet 101. Today we'll be learning how to navigate to the Westchester University. Right, so kind of the same thing. Again, short. I think it's only like 20 seconds long or something like that. But the nice thing here is that once I've recorded my video and done all the editing here in Camtasia, and I want to put it up onto YouTube, all I have to do is go to the top, up to the share menu here, and the second object is YouTube. And I'll select that. And I've already signed into my YouTube account within Camtasia. Now, if I hadn't done that, it would have come up with the YouTube, enter your username and password. Now I've already done that, so I'm already in. And what I get now is this little window that says title, description, privacy, and again, here's my three options: public, unlisted, private. So the basic settings for your YouTube video are all right here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to put in a quick title. I'm going to set it to public again. I'm going to hit share. What Camtasia is doing now is it's creating the video file from the recording that I've made. Once it's done that, it's going to automatically upload it right into YouTube. Okay, so now it's done making the file, it's uploading into YouTube, and it's done. And I have right here in this window that popped up the URL to the video. So if I click the copy button right here, I go back to a web browser and I paste it in. May take a second to come up. It might still be processing, and I'm just going to pause it at this point. There's always a little bit of a lag time. Anytime you upload a video or whatnot, there's a little bit of a processing period. YouTube actually sets up the video in various quality formats so that somebody with a really fast internet connection can watch the high quality version of the video. Someone with a slow connection will watch a slower, a lower version of the quality. But it's all about at least getting that video to whoever's watching it as quickly as possible. Hello, and welcome to Internet. So I just hit reload, and there it is, and it's all ready to go. Okay. So let's see, Marie's got a question here. How do you delete it or change from public to private, for example? Okay, so let's say I'm done, I've uploaded it, it's out there, it's ready to go. If I'm logged into my account and I'm on the YouTube video page, right below the video, there's a whole bunch of buttons here, and these are all for changing various settings and aspects of the video. The very first one on the left, it kind of looks like a pencil, says Info and Settings. If I click on that, I'm on this is the basic info page, and right here is my drop down for the privacy settings, and I have my three choices: public, unlisted, private. I could change it for, it's on public now. I could change it to unlisted and click save, and just like that, it's now unlisted. Or I could change it to private, or however it is. So to change that setting, it's just a matter of going in and changing one drop down menu. Very easy to do. For deleting a video, I'm going to go back to, so this is my my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, as they call it. And if I go to my list of videos here, and I select one, okay. When I select one, then again, where those buttons are just below the video, all the way to the right, there's one that says Video Manager. And if I pick that, these are all the videos then that I've uploaded to my YouTube account. If I want to get rid of one, let's say I want to get rid of this first one, I just check it off, and I go to the actions menu at the top here, and there's some various changes that I can make, changes to privacy, whatnot. And one of the changes is delete. So if I select that, it says you're about to delete a video. Do you want to go ahead and do it? If I click the yes delete button, then it's gone. Again, you know, after you've uploaded that video to YouTube, look just below where the video is and in that series of buttons and whatnot, and you can usually find any sort of change that you want to make to your video. So let's close that. All right, so we've looked at, I'm going to quit out of Camtasia here. So we've looked at how to upload a video. All right, let's look at how to do some very basic editing within YouTube. And again, this is all, you know, it all kind of comes to these buttons that I talked about that you'll find below the video on the videos page in YouTube. So if I click that first one again, that pencil where it says infos and settings, you know, again, I just get some very basic settings here that I can go and I create. At the top here, though, there's a whole bunch of different choices that I can make. And if I go to enhancements, the second one, I can do some. Welcome again. Let's pause that. I can do some very basic video editing here in terms of correct color. So if there's some color issues with the video that I shot, I can change things like contrast and saturation and temperature. There are things like slow motion and time lapse, so I can actually slow the video down. I can speed the video up. There's this trim button here, so if I want to cut off a certain part from the beginning or the end or somewhere in the middle there, I can cut out various segments of the video. There's some other choices up here too. So if I click on filters, this is kind of like if you use Instagram or some of those other you know, camera programs, they'll have different filters that'll give the video kind of a different look. You know, maybe it's like a sepia tone look or black and white or different things like that. There's some filters in there that you can go in and choose. And then there's also this other one that says blurring effects. The neat thing about this is maybe you made a video, but you need to kind of hide the identity of some of the people within it. There's this filter that you can apply, which essentially detects people's faces within the video and will automatically blur them. So if that is a particular concern that you have with your video, you can go in and set that, and you know, that helps take care of that issue. Another choice at the top here is audio. This is a really neat feature. So what they've done is, welcome again. Yeah, every time I select one of these, it's going to start playing my video again. One of the really neat things that Google has done is it's gone out and it's licensed a whole bunch of music that you can use as soundtracks within your video. So I don't know if you can see this, but at the very bottom here, you can do a search, and it's telling me that I have the option of selecting from over 150,000 different pieces of music that I can use. So, you know, if there's one I particularly like and want to use as background music or the soundtrack to one of my videos, I can just go ahead and select it. I'm going to pick this one right here called Across the Ocean. So now it's essentially made it the soundtrack of the video. It's pretty much drowned out anything that I said, and is playing that music over it. But I can change that. There's a little slider right here that says only music, but as I kind of dial it back, it's going to change it to favor.
Hello, and welcome again to Internet 101. To go to Apple's website, simply type in.
So if you can hear that, it's the setting says favor original audio. So you can hear me talk, but now you've got that music in the background. So now it's become more of a background music than a soundtrack. So that's a really neat feature that they've added in there. And you can also, there's a button here that says position audio.
Hello.
So you can actually control where that music starts and ends as well, just by sliding it along the timer back and forth here. So I can slide it so that the music is going to only start about 9 seconds into the video. So that's another nice feature that they've added in here. There's also the subtitles. Again, like I said before, I'm not going to go into this very heavily, but YouTube will, in most cases, it will actually try to subtitle the video for you, and it does a fairly good job. The subtitles will not appear automatically. Usually there's a bit of a wait. It's at least a few hours sometimes. Sometimes it can be as much as a day. But the neat thing is that if it does automatically subtitle your video, you can go back in at this part and change those. You can fix them, right? So it's got a voice recognition thing in there that works pretty well, but it's not going to get every single word right. So you can actually go in there and you can fix the words that it didn't get right. But the other thing too that I can do is I can add my own subtitles. So if I go in and I say add, I can upload a file. So if I've made a captioning file, which you can do within Camtasia, within other third-party programs, I can take that file, I can upload it in here, and it will automatically put those captions in with the video. There's also this feature called transcribe and autosync, which means that, let's say when you made your video, you typed out a script, right? So you actually have all of the text to the video already. You can take that text, you can upload it into YouTube through this button here, and it'll do what it calls the autosync. It will take the text and it will automatically match up the text to when you're speaking it, which is a fantastic feature. It just saves a lot of time and makes things a lot easier. There's also this transcribe feature, which is part of this button as well, which will allow you, it will play little bits of your video for you and then allow you to type in what you said as it's playing those little bits. And it will help you, like, it won't get too far ahead of you as you're doing it. So, a little bit more tedious, but again, a nice feature, especially considering that all of this is completely free. So, but again, like I said, I'm not going to go into this too heavily. There's a whole other webinar where I talk about captioning both in here and in Camtasia. And if you'd like to see that, go to our office's YouTube page, and it's on there. So in terms of editing, that's all that I have there. Okay. Maria just asked a question, and that reminds me of something that I should say. So her question is autosync only available in English? Can it be done with other languages? I believe it works in other languages as well. It supports a staggering number of languages. I forget what it is, but it's a lot. And the other thing too, now that you mention that, is this third button here that says create new subtitles or closed captioning. Well, I'm not going to get into it right now. There are also ways of creating multiple caption files. So you could have one caption in English and then you could have another caption in Spanish, and then another in French or something like that. And then the user will have the option then within the video of selecting which caption that they want. So not only can you caption it in English, but you can have multiple captions in a huge variety of languages. So that's also a really neat feature as well. So embedding into D2L. So this is the big thing, right? I mean, if you're doing online education, odds are you're going to be showing videos of some sort, whether you made them or somebody else made them or whatnot. And so to make life easier, if you can just take those videos and embed them right into the module page in D2L, it really doesn't get any simpler than that, right? The students are reading along, okay, these are the things I need to do. I need to watch this video. Boom, there's the video right there on the page. I don't have to go to YouTube's website or anything like that. I just click the play button and off I'm going and doing what I need to do right here in D2L on the module page. And the way that you do that, let's take this video right here, this one that I just uploaded. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Internet.
We'll all be able to recite this by memory by the time we're done after we've heard it so many times. So what you do, first of all, what I've done is here I am in D2L. Okay, this is just a example page that I've set up here. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit the page. So I select Edit HTML. And I'm going to find the place that I want to embed the video. So actually down here in this assignment section, the very first thing I have is watch this video. So what I'm going to do is right after that line, I'm going to hit return. Okay. This is important because your video will get inserted where the cursor is. Okay. This is how you're going to control where that video is going to show up on the page. So I made a new line right below that line that says watch this video. So I want that video to be inserted right there, right below that instruction. I'm going to go back to my video here, and below the screen where the video is, down here, here's the title of the video, there's the name of the account. So this is my account. And then right below that, there's a couple of options here, and one of them is share. If I click on share, I get a whole other window that kind of opens up here. Some more options. Second option is embed. I'm going to click on that. And I get this little bit of code that pops up here. And then below that, there's something that says show more. If I click on that, I get some further options. And the option down here is basically what's the size of the video, what's the size of the window that's going to appear on your page. And the size is done in pixels. Okay. Now, it's kind of hard to measure things on screen in pixels and whatnot. This is where a little trial and error might come in. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put, right now, the width is set at 560 pixels wide and 315 tall. That's just kind of a default setting for this particular video. I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to put in 500 for the width. And when I hit tab, the neat thing is it's automatically going to calculate the proper height then for the video. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to start stretching your video out. It's going to be taller or wider than it's supposed to be. It's going to look weird. Okay, so that's the neat thing is that it's going to automatically calculate the proper width or height depending on whatever you've typed in here. And once I've done that, this code up here automatically changed. I don't know if you saw that or not. But what this code is, this is called an embed code. If I click up here and I select it, and I'm going to copy it, okay, I'm going to go back to my D2L page, okay? So I still got the cursor at that place on the page where I want the video to appear. And I'm going to click this very first button in the toolbar in the D2L module page, and it's my favorite named button in D2L. It's called Insert Stuff. If I click on Insert Stuff, I get a whole bunch of other options that appear. Second to last thing on the list on the left here is enter embed code. So remember, we copied the embed code from the YouTube page. I clicked on enter embed code. I get this box that appears here. I'm going to paste it. Okay. So I've taken that code from the YouTube page, copied it, pasted it into here. I'm going to click the next button. Excuse me. What I get is kind of a preview of what it's going to insert into my page. And here is my YouTube video. So far, so good. If I click the insert button down at the bottom here, there it is. You know, I've taken the code from YouTube's page, pasted it into the proper place in D2L in the insert stuff button, and it's inserted the video right into the page there. And if I push the play button,
Hello and welcome to Internet.
Give it a little test, make sure it's working, everything seems to be okay. Come down here and I hit update. That's the crucial part that a lot of people seem to forget, and that I even forget from time to time. Anytime you make a change to a module page, you always need to save it. So if I click that, I've saved that, and now anytime I come back to the page, I'll have that video embedded right in there. And the students will see that. They'll see the instruction to watch that video. All they have to do is hit play and they're off and going. And they get all the same tools that you normally get from viewing a YouTube video. So if this window is a little bit too small from them, you know, they have a couple options. They can actually click this button right here, the YouTube logo. It will take them to the page on YouTube where this video is, and then there's that full screen button as well. So it'll show me the video in full screen on here. So all the options that they need are all right there. The captioning button's there. Everything that you usually see from using YouTube. So that's how you embed a video into D2L. And you can do this with any video on YouTube, whether you made it or somebody else made it. So next thing is YouTube capture. So this is, I know that we're kind of running short on time here, so I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. But this is a great option for students. They can install this app on their iPhone, their iPad. There is a similar app for Android. And if they need to make a video, everything's all right there for them to do. They've got the software, they've got their phone, which has a built-in camera. They've got the phone has the built-in microphone. You know, they've got a they've got a movie studio in their pocket right there, and it's ready to go. So what I've done is I've hooked up my iPad to this computer, and what I'm going to do is very quickly show you the screen of my iPad right here. And I'm going to change the input. All right. So this is my iPad. Here's the app, Google Capture, right there. I open it up, and what it's showing me is and what you're seeing is the view from the front camera on my iPad, right? So it's sitting on the desk looking up right at me, and you're getting a nice shot of the microphone that's in my face. So student has this on their phone, their iPad, they're walking around, they're holding it up, however they're doing it, if they have it on a tripod, whatever, however they do this. All they have to do on the right side of the screen, big red record button, they click that, and now they're recording. It's recording the video from the camera, it's recording the audio from the microphone. You know, they do whatever they need to do, for their assignment on this. When they're done, they hit that big red button again, and that kind of saves it. And it kind of, I don't know if you saw the animation there, it kind of stuck it up in the corner. If I click on that up in the corner, what I get is a sort of scaled down version of the editing features within YouTube. So I can do some very basic things here. I can do things like it's actually put a couple of clips together here. But what I can do is I can do things like some editing, like cut off part of the beginning, cut off part of the end. If you see at the top here, there's a button that says Add Music. If I tap that and hit the soundtracks buttons, again, I get access to that list of all the music that they've made available, just like they did on their website. Excuse me. And I could add in a soundtrack. I can have background music. When I'm done, I hit this little right arrow here. I've already logged into my account through this app, so it knows it's me. And then here I've essentially got a lot of the same options as I do on the website. So at the top here it says enter a title. So here's my test iPad video. Down here's my privacy setting, public, unlisted, private. If I'm happy with the way things are, I hit upload, and it's off and going, and it's uploading it through the Wi-Fi. And in a little while, that video is going to be made available in my YouTube account, just like the others that we did on the desktop computer. Really simple, straightforward app that anybody can use to make a video. Google has really done a great job of making it easy to not only to record but to do basic editing to get that video published on YouTube as well. So it's a excellent app, and I highly recommend it. That, I believe. Oh, there's one last thing, and this is integrating. So once you've published your video onto YouTube, now we can use some sort of third-party program to add functionality to it. So in this case, I want to show you very quickly a program called Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is free. You go in, sign up for an account. And what you can do is you point Edpuzzle to one of your videos, and then you can ask, what you can do is you can designate various parts of the video where the video will stop playing, and you can ask the students a question. So this is a video that Tom actually put together, and it's talking about intelligent agents in D2L, which is kind of a way to personalize some of your emails and other communications within D2L. I won't go into what intelligence agents are and how they work and whatnot, but this was a webinar that he did a while back. And if I hit play, it's going to play that video that he made and whatnot. And at some point, it's going to get to one of these green question marks along the line. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to play. And what's going to happen is once it reaches these one of these green question marks in the timeline, it's going to stop the video, and it's going to ask the students a question. So we're just about to get one here. And now he's got a question. It says, what do you use when writing a message in an intelligent agent to personalize it? And you have some choices. I happen to know the answer. It's replacement string. I can go in, I can click it, I can hit submit. It turns green with a green arrow that tells me that I'm correct. But since I'm signed in as the teacher, the person who's created this, it also shows other options. So let's say a student chose something else. It will actually show them a message that you've put in there explaining why that's not a correct answer. So they get it right, they get it wrong, whatever happens afterwards, they hit continue. The video continues on until they get to the next question. At the end, what you'll get is a report of all of your students who have done this and who got what right, who got what wrong, who's completed the assignment. You'll get some analytics about what's happened there. So really great formative assessment tool. You can really kind of get a sense of, are students getting it? Are they understanding what they're watching in this video? Are you conveying what you're trying to in a way that the students are able to get it? Because if you ask a question in the middle of your video and 3/4 of the students get it wrong, you may need to ask yourself, am I presenting this content in the best way? Maybe I'm confusing them somehow. Maybe I'm not being clear about something. So this is also a bit of a check for you as well. Let's see, Elizabeth's got a question here. Can you use Edpuzzle for only videos you've made or for any video you can find? You can actually use it for any video. It's not just ones that you've made. You can do it for others as well. So it has to be a YouTube video. So that's, again, we come to one of the pros of using using YouTube versus Kaltura. You can use a third-party tool on top of YouTube like this, whereas if you have your video in Kaltura, you cannot integrate Edpuzzle with that video. There's no way of doing that. You only have the ability to show that video to your class in Kaltura, and that's it. So again, the pros and cons of using YouTube versus Kaltura or some other service. So that's a quick look at that. Are there any questions? And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the box, or later on, if you think of something, feel free to email me. And I'll, if you are thinking about it, or if you are typing something right now, I'm going to switch over to the last slide and just kind of wrap things up. And then if you have a question, I'll get to that right after I do that. But this is the end of the webinar, and I wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I hope this you found this useful and gives you some ideas of things to do in your courses. I mentioned who I was. We have two other instructional designers, Tom and Amber Grove. We have Jess, who is our online support specialist. There's a number that you can call. It's down at the bottom of this slide, or that your students can call as long as it's an online course. And she will be there Monday through Thursday, 8 to 8, and Sunday from noon to 8. There's a question mark here on our little graphic, and that's because we're currently down an online support specialist. We're in the process of hiring another one, so hopefully we'll have that role filled in soon. But if you are working on your course, or if your students have run into a problem and it's earlier on in the evening, that's always an option there. You can always call that line to get some immediate help. So if there's no other questions, which it doesn't look like that there are, then I'm going to wrap it up and say thanks, and remind you that if you are on campus and you got a few minutes, run over to Sykes. I think we're in 115. It's that room all the way in the back behind the cafeteria. Run over to the open house, get something to eat for lunch. There may be a couple more presentations going on, but most of them are probably wrapped up. But it's still a good opportunity to see some of your colleagues here at Westchester and meet some other people from Kutztown. So that's where I'm going to be headed off to in just a couple of minutes. But thank you all for attending, and hopefully I will see you all soon.